Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions.
That cover's so awesome.
This is Mr. Chris Claremont, a legend.
Melanie goes,
Tired.
how's it going, all you Minties? Uncanny Omar here from Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions. And back by popular demand is the Hidden Gems segment. But today, this being October, let's do things a little bit different and make them spooky or horror-centric. So we're going to be talking about 5 horror-centric hidden gems in the graphic novel format. So, join me. Welcome back, everybody. It is one of my most requested segments that I bring back, and that is the Hidden Gems segment. And today, because of the month of October, we like to, make things a little creepier, make things a little bit spookier and more horror-ish. I'm going to be talking about 5 horror hidden gems in graphic novel format. Some of these books you may have read, some of them you may not have even heard of, but I would love to know what, some of yours are. I do this every year, and I try to do this segment every month. But towards the end of the year, it gets a little bit harder with all the lists, and then, of course, the standalone graphic novels and the best reads and the best of 2024. I can't believe we're right around the corner from that. But anyway, don't forget to smash that like button, please. That goes a long way for us here on the channel. In the description of the video, I do leave the list of the books in case you're interested about just one of them, or you're not interested at all, or maybe you're not a fan of the art or the writing style of the creators. Whatever it is, you can jump around there. All right, in no particular order, let's go ahead and start with my first pick. The Rush by Cy Spurrier and Nathan C. Gooden, published by Vault Comics. As a matter of fact, the full title is The Rush, This Hungry Earth Reddens Under Snowclad Hills. This is a mature content book, and it's an all-in-one. It takes place in the Yukon Territory, so it's a Canadian frozen frontier in the year 1899. And what we're looking at here is towards the end of the gold rush during this particular era and this section of Canada. Now, gold is of no interest to our main character. We meet Nettie Bridger, who comes to this remote settlement in the Yukon because she is searching for her son Caleb, who's disappeared some months before. And it all starts with these letters that she was writing him, and she ends up hiring a bodyguard, MP, to go and try to find what happens to her son, where he is, and if she, unfortunately, needs to properly bury him. But what we see in here are elements of perhaps supernatural. You see the cover with the man in the bowler hat and no face, and is it really a man? Or is it a demon? Or is it an alien? Or is it from another dimension? What exactly are we looking at? But that's what's happening in this territory. There are some deaths that are going unexplained. There are some tracks that look like giant spiders. They're just giant spider creatures, could be stirring around. And is anybody really safe? And the more that she gets to learn about these particular people, the more the mystery deepens, and the more you'll want to know what exactly is going on. The art by Nathan Gooden is excellent. He really sets up this era of the Yukon Territory. And the bloody things that are happening, the grotesque stuff, oh, it's so excellent. Especially when you have the snow and the blood splattering everywhere. Now, the one thing I will say, if you've never read a Cy Spurrier book, this is one of the complaints I've seen from people, is that sometimes his dialogue can be a little hard to follow. This is using old-time language from this region, so keep that in mind, especially when you're looking at the letters, or when Nettie herself is talking to some of the town folk looking for her son. And there are some twists and turns, and I will just leave it at that. And it is all in one, and only available in trade paperback, and again, mature content. I do try to let you know if it's mature, what the rating is. Scarenthood by Nick Roche and Chris O'Halloran, and published by IDW. This one here is older teen, and it's another one that is all one and done. And I wanted to throw a mix of something humorous in here as well as horror elements. Now this is Nick Roche, or Roche, I think I called him Roche for years, but I do think it's Roche. So let's just say Nick Roche from, at least for me, the fame of Transformers, that he grew this fan following during the IDW era of Transformers. But he is writing and inking and just drawing this entire story with, again, the colors by Chris O'Halloran. So the concept of this is we're introduced to our protagonist, who's a work-from-home dad. His name is Cormac, and his little girl, Bethany, who he calls Scooper, which is an adorable nickname, by the way. They have moved into this little Irish village. So they're new in this village, and he's already got his hands full with his daughter, and he's trying to make friends and trying to make first impressions on this group of parents that also drop off their kids at the same center, but it's just not going anywhere. So what ends up happening is that four of the parents, including Cormac, decide, instead of attending the same preschool outing, so instead of being chaperones for their kids' outings, they decide to stay back and accidentally release a rumored ancient evil believed to be living in this preschool's walls. And there are also hints that perhaps something happened to Cormac's wife. So that's why he's raising Scooper by himself. But there are some twists and turns in this book. And there are things that will end up surprising you. I found this to be full of fun. I love the artwork in here, but I was always a fan of Nick Roche's art. And the colors are just wonderful, too. They really add, I hate to say this, but the blood really pops when those colors are that vibrant. And great characters. That was the other thing that I enjoyed. I enjoyed all four of the parents, and the older to get, and when you have kids, you'll learn to appreciate goofy stories like this. So it doesn't take itself too seriously, and there is enough for more, and I hope there is one day. But as of right now, it is just one volume and only available in trade paperback format. Shipwreck by Warren Ellis and Phil Hester, and published by Aftershock Comics. Now, if you don't want to support any of the work by Warren Ellis, by all means, that's your decision. Move on to the next book. There's two more after this. Now, this one is mature, and that's mainly due to the violence in this particular story. And it's all one and done, so there's nothing that follows this, or there's nothing that comes before this. Now, at the very beginning, we're introduced to this very tired and beaten down looking man who's staggering around. It's kind of this old style, like a Western landscape. At the beginning, there are a few wordless pages, but then from the dialogue, we do learn that the character's name, the gentleman that we're following, is Jonathan Shipwright, and that he landed in this world, which doesn't seem to be a world of our own, and he doesn't know how he got there or where this place even is. He does have this ability with some technology to travel instantly from one spot in this landscape to another. Now, even though the landscape seems to be deserted, he does encounter a variety of different characters. And all these characters, for the most part, seem to be okay with murdering each other for food or for sacrificial reasons, whatever that may be. And some of them claim to know who he is. Others have no idea who he is or what he's even looking for. And Phil's artwork in here, I was a fan of what he did on Green Arrow, but his art is a lot different here. This here feels like it's really sharp, and each and every character really stands out on their own. The landscapes are just eerily big. I love what he does with the landscapes in this. There's lots of gore in here, but it's mainly that big Western style landscape that I really enjoy. That's when I think he really shines. There's futuristic equipment, because I did mention some of the technology that our main character is using. I love a mysterious book like this, but I can completely understand when people don't. That you have so many questions. Who is this guy? Is it somebody that we can really trust? Can we really trust his narration? Is he really the character of Jonathan Shipwright? Is he dead? Is he in another dimension? If he is dead, is it heaven? Is it hell? Is it purgatory? Who are these people that he's talking to? Is it a past life? I love when I'm thrown into a mystery like this, that you're not really given much clues at the beginning, but you kind of figure things out on your own. Again, only available in trade paperback, and it's an all-in-one. Cold Iron by Andy Diggle and Nick Brokenshire, published by Dark Horse Comics. This is one that I actually did an overview, a quick overview of last year, and it stayed with me. So I really enjoyed the story, and I knew I was going to visit it again. And this is older teen, mainly due to some of the language in here, and a little bit of the violence. And it's another one that's all one and done, so you don't need to read anything after this. Although the ending does leave it open for more. Now, this story originally was published through Comixology, and it's all about the singer named Kay Farragher, who lives with her grandma in this Isle of Man, is what it's called. And all she wants to do is leave this isle to go and play music. She wants to just be a musician. She wants to take her music all over the world, but she feels like she's stuck here. Then we see a horde of demons known as the Glashtin. And I love all these names because I learn a lot. I swear I learn a lot through comics. I actually looked up some of the stuff after I was done reading this. But they are chasing a girl. Now, you're led to believe that the girl they are chasing is Kay. Nope, not at all. Now, after entertaining some kids with her music, she gets in her car and runs across this young lady named Mona. She's the one that's running away from these particular Glashtin. And her grandmother is such an awesome character because as the reader, for me, honestly, I got to learn a lot about Manx folklore through here as she lectures Kay about where the island's name came from some like god hero who now resides inside of the Fey realm. So you get to know like all this lore that I get a little bit here and there, but I thought that was so interesting that they took a character like her telling her granddaughter about all these things. And you actually get to find out what the cold iron is by the time you finish the book. Again, it is a trade paperback, and the artwork here by Brokenshire is excellent. I haven't read a lot of Andy Diggle's work outside of Vertigo and DC Comics, so this was one that really stood out to me. I really enjoyed it, and I hope that flipping through these pages, you also find something in there that you were like, maybe I'll check that out. Or you're a fan of Andy Diggle's Losers or his run on Green Arrow, and you're like, I didn't know he wrote this. He did. You want to see something really scary? I had to do it. I love the Twilight Zone movie, and that moment with Dan Aykroyd, chef's kiss. This is Clean Room. This is by Gail Simone and John Davis Hunt, and published by Vertigo Comics. Well, DC Comics under the Vertigo label. Now, there were 3 volumes of this, and this is definitely mature content. And I mentioned Twilight Zone for a reason, because I love that movie, but also this feels like a Twilight Zone meets like Twin Peaks, because you don't know what the hell is going on here. And finally, this is one out of the 5 that managed to creep me out because of John Davis Hunt's artwork. There is some creepy imagery through here. There are some monsters that show up through here that give me that 80s vibe. The story is a little confusing at first, but the more you read, especially by the time you get to the 2nd volume, the more things get answered. It's dark, so this is the way it begins. It begins with a young girl getting hit by a car, and the guy in the truck backing her over. So he runs her over twice. Now, I will come back to this little girl named Astrid Mueller. We'll come back to her. Later on, we meet Chloe Pierce, who is a reporter that just tried to commit suicide because her boyfriend had committed suicide. However, she's unsuccessful thanks to a group of people, and when she comes to, she starts having memories of her boyfriend. And when he shot himself, the thing that he was holding in his hand was a book. And it was a book that is involved with the Honest World Foundation. It's like a group of people that border self-help classes with, I guess, like a Heaven's Gate type of cultish mentality. And the group's leader is Astrid Mueller. See, I told you we would come back to that little girl. So that's where it starts. I don't want to tell you what the clean room is because I want people to go, what the hell is even the clean room? Is it a VR thing? Is it like the danger room? Is any of this real? Because to me, that's not what's creepy about the book. Not the mystery. It's the fear of the unknown. Like whenever the character of Chloe starts seeing these monsters for no reasons, like at all, she just starts seeing them everywhere. And you're like, where did this even come from? The art is so amazing. It is fantastically detailed and stunning, even though it's grotesque, and not all the monsters are grotesque. Some of them, like I said, just creepy, because it kind of reminds me of those 80s horror movies. It's a great premise with wonderful artwork. I love the antagonist. I love the character of Astrid Mueller. I think she makes for an awesome character. I would love to see her come back. Even though it confused the hell out of me, and like watching Twin Peaks, I loved every minute of this. And I hope you enjoy stories like that too, where it confuses you and you're like, did I really understand what was going on by the end? Or is it just okay not to understand and be creeped out? Sometimes I need stories like that. Again, 3 volumes, published by DC Comics in their Vertigo imprint, and there hasn't been a reprint in Black Label. Now, if any of these books I talked about today pique your interest, check out our sponsors.
If you're in Europe and you're interested in buying these books, definitely check out Walt's Comic Shop in Berlin, Germany. They have the cheapest pre-order prices, flat shipping rate of €12 for all EU countries, emails answered within 24 hours, waltscomicshop.com, and you can use the code nearmintcondition at checkout and get free shipping for all EU countries with your first order over €40. That's Walt's Comic Shop, your reliable source for omnis and premium collected editions in Europe. Ding!
CheapGraphicNovels.com, your online home for graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They have excellent shipping and prompt and helpful service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And don't forget that CGN also takes pre-orders. That way you don't miss out on the hottest releases. And they are currently running a special promotion for you Minties. If you're a first-time customer, after receiving your order confirmation email, reply back to that email and let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way. They will then apply a free shipping promotional credit to your next order in the US. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discount, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more. And that was my list of hidden gems for the month of October of 2024. Let me know what kind of spooky reads you've had already this month, or even if you don't have to wait until the month is up, or the month of October to read spooky reads. I would love to know all those comments down below. Don't forget that I do this every month, so check out the playlist of hidden gems. Big thank you to our patrons for making videos like this possible. Everybody, stay healthy and safe out there. Much love.